Well, I couldn't be asking for a better day of sunshine and blue skies as autumn starts to close in on us. And today we're going to do a short hip and hamstring sequence. So starting in a nice cross-legged position, taking the arms overhead as you breathe in. As you breathe out, bringing the hands down in front of you, extending the arms as far away from you as you can, opening and balancing up the hips. If you wish, you can also stack your fists on top of one another and just rest your forehead on your fists so you can really melt into the pose, opening up through the hips. And then gently walking the hands round to bring the chest over one thigh as you stretch through the opposite side. Coming back to the breath, nice smooth breaths throughout. And then continuing to walk the fingers round to the side, coming up onto the fingertips, coming upright and taking the arm overhead, stretching through the waist. And taking that hand from overhead down to the opposite knee, sitting upright, taking the other hand round to the opposite buttock as you turn to look over your shoulder in a seated twist. Gently unwinding, coming back to centre, swapping the cross of the legs. Taking the arms overhead as you breathe in. As you breathe out, taking the hands as far forward as you can, or bringing your fists on top of one another and just resting your forehead on your fists as you gently open and balance the hips. Just watching the shoulders don't creep up by the ears. Closing down the eyes if you want to turn inwards and turning back towards your breath. Following the ebb and flow of your breath in the rise and fall of your body as you breathe in and out. Gently coming out of it, walking the hands round to the other side, bringing your chest over the other leg, stretching through the other side of the body, breathing nice and smoothly. Continuing to walk round to the side, coming up onto the fingertips, arms overhead, stretching through your side, through your waist. Taking the hand that's overhead down to the opposite knee, walking the fingers round to the opposite buttocks, lifting up through the torso as you gently turn, isolating the twist through the torso. Breathing nice and smoothly. Coming back to centre. We're going to do deer pose. So we're going to take the right knee directly in front of the hip, taking the lower leg parallel with the front of the mat, taking the left knee parallel with the hip, and straightening the leg. So your legs are in a 3/4 back to front S. Opposite hand to knee, opposite hand goes round to sort of level, just slightly behind your hip as you turn The twist, of course, being great for digestion and improving the mobility and flexibility in the spine. Try and ground down through the hips as you open and balance the hips in this pose. And then if you wish, taking your hands onto the floor, forehead on the floor. Walking the hands back and swapping it all over to the other side. So taking the left knee in front of the hip, lower leg parallel with the front of the mat, right knee parallel with the hip, foot 90 degrees to the knee. So you're in a 3/4 back, 3/4 S. Opposite hand to knee, left hand down by the hips as you turn. Keep breathing smoothly. And then if you wish, you can stay there if you don't want to come down, but it's really nice actually just coming down. You can also rest your head on a block, just melt into the floor. And then gently guiding yourself out of it. And we're going to come round into downward dog. So coming into downward dog, grounding down through the palms, nice length through the arms, elbow creases looking at one another, triceps looking at the mat. Relax the back of your neck, your gaze is soft between your feet. Shoulder blades moving up the back towards the bum up towards the sky or the ceiling. Nice line of energy back down the legs to the heels, tucked behind the ankles, downward dog. And just walking your dog, starting to activate the glutes, the hamstrings and the calves. And then settling into the pose. Breathing in, taking the right leg up to the ceiling, three-legged dog, pressing through the heel, toes facing towards the floor. Breathing out, taking that foot to where the right hand is and stepping the right hand, one handprint closer to the left. So both hands are on the inside of the foot. This is baby dragon. Try and extend your back leg as far back as you can so you get a nice stretch through that hip flexor. It's also opening up through the outer hip of the front leg. Grounding down through the palms, nice length through the arms, helps to soften and stretch through the shoulders and upper back. Coming back to the breath. And then gently walking the foot to the edge of the mat, lifting the ball of the foot off the floor and the big toe, allowing the knee to move out to the side. This is known as winged dragon. So taking the stretch into the inner thigh as well as the outer hip, the hip flexor and the lower back. And you can stay on the palms if you want to. If you want to, you can come down onto your elbows. If you have a block, you can also place the block underneath your elbows. Breathing nice and smoothly. Coming back onto the palms, walking the foot to the centre of the mat. Toes facing up towards the 12 o'clock, bringing the fingers either side of the shins or the hips, and sitting halfway back, bringing your chest over your thigh. So this pose is known as half monkey. Stretching through the hamstrings, you can keep a tiny bend in the knee to protect the hamstrings if you have very tight or super hypermobile hamstrings. Bringing the chest over the thighs. And then taking the hands to the top of the mat, stepping to the back of the mat. Coming back into downward dog, walking your dog. Grounding down through the palms, nice length through the arms, all the way through the torso, up to the bottom. Following the energy back down the legs to the heels, tucked behind the ankles, downward dog. Breathing in, taking the left leg up to the ceiling, pressing through the heels, toes facing towards the floor. Breathing out, taking that foot to where the left hand is. Both hands on the floor, baby dragon. Coming back to the breath throughout, nice smooth breaths, and gently walking the foot to the edge of the mat, lifting the ball of the foot off the floor and the big toe, taking the knee out to the side for winged dragon. And you can stay on your palms if you wish, but if you want to take it a bit deeper, come down on your elbows, either on the floor or on a mat or on a block. And then coming back up onto the palms, walking the foot to the centre of the mat, bringing the foot to face upwards, tiny bend in the knee if you need to protect the leg, fingers either side of the leg, either at the shin or the hips. You can even come onto a block either side of your hips if you need that extra space. And then bringing the chest over the thigh, half monkey. This is so called because Hanuman was the monkey god in Hindu legend, and he straddled two continents. So splits in yoga are known as Hana Asana. So these are half splits, so it's half monkey, half Hana Asana. And then taking the hands to the top of the mat, stepping the feet to the back of the mat, coming back into downward dog. Sinking down onto the knees as you breathe in, crossing the feet and sitting back behind your feet as you breathe out. Bringing the legs out in front. Taking the arms overhead as you breathe in, taking the hands down either side, hands down to your feet, bringing the chest to the thigh, Paschimottanasana, seated forward fold, the great asana. This is a great pose for stretching through the hamstrings, increasing the energy to the nerves along the spine and massaging the intestines. Releasing the hands, taking the arms overhead as you breathe in, hands back down by your sides as you breathe out, coming to rest on your back. So we're going to finish off today's sequence with Supta Padangusthasana. If you have a strap to hand, or a tie, or a Pilates band, or a scarf, that's great. If you don't, you can just support your leg with your hands, taking the strap around the ball of your right leg and extending that leg to the ceiling. Again, always remembering a tiny bend in the knee if you need it. Now, as you bring the foot towards the forehead, if you end up with a really big bend like this, you've gone too far, so just ease off a bit. The sun is absolutely glorious. I could stay here forever. Now extend the bent leg into the floor and notice how that slightly intensifies the pose. And then taking both straps into the right hand, extending the left arm at shoulder height, lower the leg down to the right hand side. Very slight slant here. I'm a bit mindful of going a bit too far and rolling into the river, which would be a pretty disastrous end to the filming. Coming back to centre, swapping the straps into the other hand, lower the leg down to the other side, which takes it into the IT band. And then coming back to centre, place the foot on the floor, wrapping the strap around the ball of the left foot, extending that leg to the ceiling, protecting the hamstring with a tiny bend if you need to, but if you've got a really big bend, you've gone too far. And then extending the bent leg into the floor. Notice how that intensifies the pose slightly. Taking both straps into the left hand, lower the leg down to the left hand side, extending the right arm at shoulder height, palm facing down. And then bringing the leg through centre, swapping the strap into the other hand, lower the leg down to the right hand side, stretching through the IT band. Coming back to centre. Bring the soles of the feet together, resting the feet on the outside edge of the feet, allowing the knees to gently grace the floor. Palms either side of the hips facing upwards, close down your eyes. Gently allowing your breathing to return to normal, bringing your awareness to the crown of your head, softening your forehead, releasing the space between your eyes and around your eyes. Relaxing your mouth, tongue and jaw. Softening your throat and neck. Releasing your shoulders. Relaxing your arms and hands all the way down the front of your body and all the way down your spine. Lengthening your legs into the floor, extending the feet slightly wider than hip distance as you relax your hips, pelvis and buttocks. Relax all the way down the front of the legs and all the way down the back of your legs. Relaxing your ankles, the top of your feet, the soles of your feet and your toes. And of course you can stay here for longer and just pause the video if you wish, but if you're ready to transition into your day, bringing some movement back to your body by wriggling your fingers and your toes. Using your left hand to guide your right knee to your chest as you breathe in. As you breathe out, taking that knee down to the left hand side. Breathe in, bringing the knee back to the chest, and breathe out. Extend the leg into the floor. Using the right hand to guide the left knee, bringing the left knee to your chest as you breathe in. To the right side as you breathe out. Back to center as you breathe in. And extending the leg into the floor as you breathe out. Bending the legs, hugging the knees into your chest and gently rolling along the spine 3 or 4 times until you come into a comfortable seated position. Bringing the hands to heart center. May the light that shines within me honour the light that shines within you. Namaste. Thanks very much for joining me. Don't forget, if you like what you saw, hit like and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you again next time.